everyone, it's Chelsea of the Lit Sisters. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I'm sorry we didn't have a video on Monday. It slipped Heather's mind that we were posting again on Monday, so she's gonna post a video on Friday. So yeah, there'll be 2 videos this week. It just Heather forgot, so she's postponing when she posts hers. So anyway, to my video. Today I am doing a book talk about Battle Magic by Tamora Pierce. The 11th book in the Emelon verse. The 3rd book in the Circle Reforged era, I guess is the right term for it. I don't know. It's not really a series, but it's referred to as a Circle Reforged 3 sometimes, so that thing. I'm so excited to finally talk about this book, so let's just hop right in to the book talk. Also, all of this book talk will probably be spoilery because, like I said, it is the 11th book in a verse. There's 2 complete series that come before this book and 2 books that were released before this book. So, sorry, but there are spoilers, so if you haven't read this book, go read it and then come back to this video. Okay, bye! First things first about this book is that it is the sort of second big book in the Circle Reforged. What I mean by that is that Tamora Pierce, way back in 2005, 10 years ago, released Will of the Empress, and then 3 years after Will of the Empress came out, we had Melting Stones come out. Now, Melting Stones is in the Circle Reforged universe, but it takes place at the same time as Will of the Empress and focuses, for the first time in this whole verse, on not the 4 main characters. It focuses on Briar's student Evie from his Circle Opens book Street Magic, and Rosethorn, his teacher. So it's kind of, I don't know, I liked that book, but I don't consider it like the main storyline. I consider Will of the Empress and Battle Magic to be like the main story arc that pushes you through the tale of Emelon verse, because I identify with those 4 characters so heavily. I feel like they're the ones who compel the Emelon verse story. There was quite a bit of time in between Will of the Empress and Battle Magic, and to make things worse, it's not chronological. Battle Magic happens before Will of the Empress, and a lot of bad things happen in this book, so the characters that are in this book, Briar, Rosethorn, and Evie, were very adversely affected by it, and they had PTSD and all sorts of things, and you were just like, what happened to you? What happened? And we had to wait until Battle Magic came out. And Battle Magic came out in 2013, which, if you're counting, is a lot of years between 2005. It is 8 years between 2005 and 2013. It was a very long time to wait for this book. I was really happy with it after having the wait. I was really very happy with reading it, but I know because of the wait, because the build-up of it being mentioned in both Will of the Empress and Melting Stones before this came out, some people, I think, got a little disappointed when they ended up reading it just because there was so much expectation for this book. I think that's mainly the issue. I wasn't disappointed. I really liked it. I felt like it met up to all the hopes and dreams, except for one thing that really bugged me, which was at the end of Will of the Empress, Briar shows his mind discipline cottage. He shares it with Sandry and Trish and Daja. He's like, yeah, I got put away for a while, or I was captured for a while or something like that, and I didn't have a lot to do, so I built this discipline cottage. And then I read Battle Magic, and at no point is Briar ever captured. Well, not ever. He is captured at one point, but he was asleep for 3 days and then he got freed the same day that he was captured. So unless this is talking about an event that was not written about for whatever reason in Battle Magic, I don't know when that happened, and that kind of bugged me just the tiniest bit that wasn't in this book. It was interesting to go and see the East. So this book takes place in Yongzi? I don't know how to say it. It's like Gyongxe. However you say that word. It's very Asian, and I'm very not Asian, and I have no idea how to pronounce things. It takes place in there and in Yanjing, which is I'm guessing is sort of like China, but like not China because it's not our world, but it seems very heavily Chinese influenced. And from what I've read from people online, I guess Yangtze is sort of like very similar to like a Tibetan kind of culture, I guess. I think it's Tibet that they said. It was really interesting to go and see those cultures. China, the Yongjing was they had an emperor and a grand army, and it was kind of, whenever they were there, it was very, very intimidating and kind of scary, and I was like, no bad things happen to my booze. my booze being Briar and Rosethorn and Evie. And if we can just stop for a moment, the relationships in this book are probably the best part of this book. Seeing Briar and Rosethorn and Evie talking, and just the way their relationship has evolved since Street Magic is really, really cute. There are so many times that Rosethorn calls Briar her boy, and sometimes Briar jokingly refers to Rosethorn as mom, and then Briar and Evie's relationship is just, it's so cute. Oh my god, I loved, that was like the best part of this book, was the relationships. It was really interesting to see war play out. And I know one of the criticisms people had in this book is that because Briar and Evie and Rosethorn were really torn up about it, but I know some people have said, well, I don't know what they were so torn up about. The things they go through in this book are pretty traumatic. Evie is captured and tortured by the Yongjing army for information about where Briar and Rosethorn and the armies are, because they know that she knows and she's not gonna tell them, and they like murder her cats, and it's very like a disturbing scene. Even more so disturbing when you find out that she's naked for the entire thing, and then she like has a fear of being naked around people, which is like totally understandable, but that scene was really disturbing, and I can understand why somebody would be post-traumatic stressed about it. Rosethorn has to go on this like really weird sojourn with these like weird artifacts of the living temples. They're like the artifacts of each element, I guess, and they have these like super weird powers. That's another thing. Yangtze is a very weird place. There's like gods and all these like weird creatures that just exist in Yangtze, and it's like totally normal, but the rest of the world doesn't have it because Yangtze is like, I guess it's like up in the mountains, so it's supposed to be like the closest plane to the gods or whatever, but there's like huge spider monsters and like cave horses and snake skeletons and everything. It's a very weird place. Briar contacts the artifacts that Rosethorn is supposed to be traveling to keep safe from the Yongjing Emperor, and after he touches it, he starts to see like all the paintings of the gods and things start moving, and he can see them moving, and they're like taunting him. Even like some statues will move and taunt him. It was really kind of weird, and it was sprinkled throughout the whole book, because in the first chapter you meet the God King, which is like this little 9-year-old boy that is the king of Yangtze. He's like a vessel through which all the gods in the Emelon verse talk through, and he'll like be like a normal 9-year-old kid for a little bit talking, and then he'll just be like possessed and start talking very strangely, and you get that he's being, the gods have decided to take this moment and talk through him. It is pretty intense read. Like I said, I teared up a couple of times, and because I was reading this book in public, I had to physically calm myself down. I had to be like, you can't cry in public over a book, people will look at you and you'll be embarrassed. So there was that. But I really liked it. There were some new characters in here that I enjoyed and hated. The Emperor of Yongjing, thought he was a huge douche. All of his magician people that he had, huge douches. Disliked all of them. They all proved to be pretty disgusting people. I liked Parahan, I think that's how you say his name, who was like a slave that Briar and Evie free in Yongjing when they go to visit the Emperor. Yeah, Parahan and his sister Sudume, I think was her name. They were really cool. I liked the addition of them. You learn way more about Rosethorn and Lark's relationship. It is very clearly defined that Rosethorn and Lark are together and in love, and you're like, oh, And then you find out that Rosethorn's in an open relationship with Lark, so she like sleeps with Parahan at one point. It's like, oh, nothing graphic, but you know, it's there. And that's just like an interesting thing, I guess. Lark knows about it, so I guess it's cool, but that, I don't know. I would never be okay with an open relationship. I'd be like, no, you gotta be with me or with nobody. There are so many heart-pounding feels in this book, and it was so enjoyable. The ending, some people say it's a little Deus Ex Machina, I guess? I don't know. If it is, it's very well built out because they sort of hint at the god. I mean, at the ending of the book, basically, they're all captured and everything, and you think everything's gonna go to shit, but then all the god creatures come out and basically save the day. But I didn't find it too Deus Ex Machina because, or Deus Ex Machina. I'm tired, I just got off work. I didn't find it that horrible, mainly because basically throughout the whole book, you're learning about these creatures. That's what Luvo is. He's the heart of a mountain, but he's one of those like godlike creatures. So the fact that it was like hinted at throughout the entire book, like pretty much from the beginning you hear about these things, and then through when they get back to Yangtze, you're just almost immediately they are talked about constantly in this book. So I didn't find it too weird that they appeared at the end to save everything, because it was talked about so much in the book, and how they were such an important part of Yangtze, and why so many temples to so many different gods are built in Yangtze. So I understood that, and I didn't find the ending to be too much sort of like, you know, like the ending to the Odyssey a little bit, where like the gods just basically like, I'm saving everything. That basically kind of happens here. The creatures come out and fight and they save everybody, but because it's talked about so much in this book, I don't find it to be that bad. Generally, I did really enjoy this book. I am super excited because this is going to be the last book talk for a while for Tamora Pierce, but not a long while, because supposedly sometime this year there's going to be another Emelon verse book released about Trish at Lightsbridge. It takes place after Will of the Empress. So I'm really excited to read that book, and I really hope it gets released on time, because this book got pushed back so much. Like I said, 8 years of waiting for this book. 8 years. I know what it is to wait. That's melodramatic. Tell me in the comments below your thoughts on Battle Magic by Tamora Pierce. What you thought about it. Were you let down because of the 8-year wait and because so much of the story was mentioned in previous books? Or were you satisfied with it like I was, like really satisfied with it? Or did the ending bug you? Like what? Tell me your thoughts on this book. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please come back here on Friday to see Heather's video. And until then, happy reading!